Welcome back to Technically. So we have seen how to start a Flutter project in Android Studio. So in this tutorial, I'll explain more detail about stateful widget and stateless widgets, and I'll also show some of the UI components, how we can design the UI, how we'll have to place the UI elements in the dart file. And this video is going to be a bit lengthy, but if you want to create an app with some of the UI components and to get an idea about the UI, the alignment, the layouts, all that things, you need to watch this video. And if you really like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So let's begin. We have seen that the class has a class name, and the stateless widget will be holding a stateful widget if it has any dynamic data that is to be updated. And the main function is the root of the project. This is the starting point of the Flutter app. So, and yesterday we have seen how to change the app title, and now we know we need to create a state to change the UI or to make any changes in the UI. Okay, let's explain one by one. So this is the starting point, this is the main function, and from the main function we will call our the root class, the root widget, and here it is the my app. So inside the run app you can see my app is initialized, and inside the my app you can see a method called build, and the build method is returning a widget, and this widget is come inside a material app. So the Flutter has two types of design libraries. One is a material and the other one is a scaffold. Scaffold comes along with the material. You'll get all the properties of material inside the scaffold as well, but the scaffold is more used in the stateful widgets. And in the material app, if you click the material app with your control or the command in Mac, control in Windows, you can go inside the material app class and you can see what are all the properties this class has. According to each properties, you can set values to that particular material app class, and that will get reflected in the UI. Say for example, we can see title over here, theme, home, and inside the material app you can see title, your color, theme, dark theme, theme mode, localize, home, roads. So many properties are there. We can use whatever is required. So for the title we have specified some text value, but this title is overridden with the scaffold theme inside our stateful widget, but that doesn't matter. Let's give something. And the theme, for the three, we have specified a theme with a swatch color as red. Inside the theme data also you can see the properties. It has so many properties: primary color, light, primary color, dark, card color, splash color. If you want to specify any of such colors, you can just go inside the theme data and you can just type say for example I am setting primary color light. So this is a color, so we need to give a color for this, and I am going to give a blue color for that. So it will take the blue color as the primary color light. So similar to this, you can specify the values whichever values is applicable. So when I compare this with Android or iOS, this will be very easier when I compare with those two platforms, because the UI part is done along with your business logic part or your the main programming language. You don't need to go into a separate XIB file or XML file to design a UI and to bind the UI with particular view controller or fragment or activity. You can just simply write everything inside one file. So that makes me a bit easy when I compare with those two platforms, because I'm a Android developer and I know the complexity of designing the UI and binding it with fragment or activity. So anyways, let's talk more about Flutter. So the next one is home is also expecting a widget, and that is our stateful widget. So here we are specifying a stateful widget as my home page. So this class should also return a widget to back to this home property, and I'll show you how we are doing that. But before that, you can see this is a class and it is expecting a key called the title. So it doesn't, it is not mandatory to pass anything over to your stateful widget, but in the auto generated project it has a property passed as to the stateful widget. So let it be there. Let's go into my home page class. So this is my home page and this is a stateful widget, and as we have already discussed, it is expecting a key called title, and this title comes here, right here, and this value will automatically set to this title key, the variable specified. So in order to access this title inside your my home page state, so here comes the tricky part, or the main dynamic the UI dynamic property is actually resides inside this date class, because we are extending this particular class from a state, and that state is called our widget, my home page. So this state has life, this can be changed at any time. So how we do that is with our build method. So as we have already seen the build method inside my app, the root widget, we also have a similar build method inside our state class, and that is this one, this build method. And similar to that root method, this one is also returning a widget. The scaffold is called a widget class, which is similar to the material app, but it has some more properties. See, as you can see here, it has floating action button, bottom sheet, bottom navigator, extended body. It's almost similar to the material, but it has some more properties. And this is the scaffold is more used with the navigation component. Say for example, if you need to come back from a page to your the previous page, we can simply use scaffold. But if you are going with the material, that means you need to do a tricky thing. But if you are going with a single scaffold, means it is very easy. You only need to tap the top right, top left back button. So now let's leave this method for the time being, and I'll explain this build method in detail now. So this scaffold has an app bar, and this app bar here is doing the similar toolbar stuff in Android. The Android developers might be knowing it. For iOS developers, the bar which we have seen in the sample app, which has the title, is come here inside this app bar property, and inside the app bar class we have specified the title. Along with the title, it has some more things, some more properties about elevation, shape, brightness, icon theme. So many things are there. Even the toolbar opacity is there, and Next property of the scaffold is body. Body means the entire view of the page except the title bar, except the top toolbar. And you can, as we have seen inside the app, there is a floating action button. We have added a floating action button here. We can just remove that for the time being. It's only with the body, and the title is taking this value that we have received from the root. You can see the title is taken widget.title. That means the title resides inside our my home page widget, and we are accessing it from the page state. So we need to call it widget.our property. Discuss about the center. So the next property of scaffold is body, and in the body we are returning a widget center, and inside the center there is a child, and this child is again provided with a column widget. So if you go inside the column, you can see the properties which are available for the column. So basically, for the alignments in Flutter, we have two types of components, and the one is row and the other one is this column. One is row. Row is same, I mean, as the name suggests, it has horizontal elements. Say for example, if we have one button and the next button will come after the first button horizontal the horizontal manner. So row is for aligning components horizontally, and column is for aligning components vertically. And inside the row and column there is alignment axis specification, which we can specify like where the child placement has to be happened, whether it is in the start or in the center or at the end, and how you can even specify the space width of each child coming inside the row or column. So for all that thing, you can go into the column and you can see what are the properties it has. Mainly it has main axis alignment, main axis size. These are the default values. If you do not specify anything, it will take these default values. So say for example here the main axis alignment, so I have the default one is start, but I have given it as center, so the components will align center vertically. So to align center vertically, I have given main axis dot center. If you want to align it from the start, you can give start. Give end. Say there are other properties like space between, space evenly, center. That these all values are for according to different use cases. You can select or you can take whatever you require. Next we have children. So for the column, it is expecting widgets inside the children. See, this will check see the children property is expecting a list of widgets. That means you can have a multiple number of widgets inside this children property. So here first we have specified a text. We have pushed button this many times, and we also have specified one more text that will come below this first text. That is how it works. And if you want to specify one more text, you can specify it like this text, and inside this you need to specify the value that is to be printed. Text. So Along with this, you can style your text widget with the style property. You can specify the text color. So okay, right. And I am going to give bold text. So to run this, as we have already discussed, let us first start our AVD Manager. From the AVD Manager, we can run our emulator. Let's try running the Pixel 3. Because when I tried Pixel 3 yesterday, it was not working. I don't know what is wrong with that. But anyways, to save time, 3. Okay. Pixel 3 is active now. So let's wait for the devices console to bring up our device. Nope, not yet. Yes. Okay, now it is there. It's Pixel 3. Let me try to run this on this emulator. Maybe it will take some time for the first time, but anyways, I will skip that time and I will show you the application is having the project that we have this plan. Okay, I'll change the text and I'll show you how it works. Let's wait for the hot reload. Normally it won't take this much time, that moment itself. Yes, now it is. The text is changed. It will get reflected within seconds. And as you can see that the entire stuff is grouped together at the starting at the top point, which because we have given the main axis alignment as start. See, if we have specified it as sender, it will have shown like just like this. So this is for aligning the content inside your column. Okay, next let's try adding a text field and a button. Okay, so far we have seen with some of the widgets, column, text, add bar, scroll, detail tab. All those are the basics, basic types of widgets. So now next I will try adding a new widget called card. Cards are a kind of shape in the cornered boxes with some shadow effect at the bottom, which is called elevation in Android. So let me try getting a card. Okay, so when you go inside the card, you can see color, elevation, shape, border margin, behavior, child. So these are all the properties for the card. Okay. And so the card will expect a child widget. So let's try having the same text right here and text inside the card. Try running this. Okay, we have got a text inside a card, but you can see the text has no padding. The card is just directly taken the text without any padding. So let's check whether the card widget has any padding. No, it does not have any padding there. So let's try giving. So no padding right here. Padding. There is a class called just give widget. So it is also have a widget. And also I'm gonna replace this text with this padding, and this padding is so expecting the padding value. So in order to give the value for all four sides, you can go with edge insects all, and you can give the padding value you need to give. And if I hit code readout, you can see the card has got some padding. Look nice. And I'll also try to give some iteration. Just try with it. And see the card has got shadow bit high. And if I try to give some color, let's try with purple. Now the card has got some colors as well. So this is how we create cards. So we have missed one important point of card. Since a card has this corner radius value to be given in Android card use, the similar property for card radius, corner radius is also available in Flutter, but that is not a direct value for the card widget. You need to give a shape. Let's say it is expecting radius. So let's try to give circle horizontal. Let's give circle and let's give the radius 10, and let's run it. And let's see the values change already. Sure, we change the value. If I give 20, let's see how it looks. And it came as a rounded pattern. So this is how we give the corner radius for cards. Now this shape property can be given to any widget which is expecting a shape property. It doesn't mean that the card has only this property. It is applicable for all widgets.